Hey, hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Char's Pampered Kitchen, where you can chef yourself. Today, what we're going to chef ourselves with is some homemade ravioli. We're going to do the dough, and we're going to do a cheese stuffing, and we're going to do a meat stuffing. So, let's get started then with chefing ourselves here today with some homemade ravioli. Got a sifter here, and I'm going to use my sifter, and I'm going to sift about 2 cups here of all-purpose flour. Now, when you're making pasta, you should be using the semolina, the 00. I do not have that right now, and I feel like having ravioli, so I'm using all-purpose flour. We'll see how it turns out for us. So that was 1 cup that I just sifted, and here I go again. Bam. We're going to make a well, and we're going to make a big well because we're going to be putting about 3 large eggs right here into the middle of the pasta. 1, there's number 2, okay, so what actually happened here was, it says large eggs on the container there, but they were not large enough. So I added a 4th egg, the whole egg. I also added about a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. And I've been kneading for about 10 minutes. So I have this nice ball of dough right here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this dough into the refrigerator for approximately 30 minutes or however long it takes me to get my stuffing made. Well, our pasta is saran wrap, and it is in the refrigerator resting. So now we're going to get cheesy, and we're going to chef ourselves with some cheese filling. And I'm going to today use some ricotta cheese, and I'm going to take about half of this container. There we go. It's a little more than half, but let me back you up a bit so you can see, sorry, what's going on. There we go. So there we've got, this is a 1 pound, a 454 gram container of ricotta cheese. And I've used approximately half of that. Okay. I've got some spinach. And we are going to chop it up and add some to our cheese. Okay. Put that right in there. So into that ricotta cheese and spinach mixture, I'm going to add 1 cup of grated Parmesan and 1 cup of grated mozzarella, about a tablespoon of parsley, and I happen to have some boursin, however you like to say it, on hand. So I'm going to throw a half of one of those in there, just for grins and giggles. Why? Because we're chefing ourselves. And that's how we do it. Okay? We're going to get this all mixed up, nice and good. And then we're going to work on the meat filling. And this here, this is the perfect consistency for our ravioli. We've got our cheese stuffing for our ravioli set to the side, and we're going to work now on the meat. We've got a half a pound of ground pork. We have a half a pound of ground beef. I've got a few leaves of spinach here, which I am going to chop up and add into the meat. Okay, just like so. There we have it. I'm going to add some basil. Just, you know, we're chefing ourselves with the onion powder. We've got some garlic powder. Okay. Coming in with some thyme. Okay. I'm going to throw a little bit also of some parsley in there. Now, this is just a tablespoon each of the cheese that we put into the filling. So we've got some mozzarella and some Parmesan. Okay. I'm going to throw some salt and pepper in there. There's your salt. Coming in with some pepper. Okay. And I am going to put some of that boursin in there. Why not? And we're going to mix this all up. Mix it all together till it's all nice and combined. There we have it. There's our stuffing, our meat stuffing for our raviolis. Here's our dough ball of pasta. We're going to cut this into 4. And we're going to work with one at a time and wrap the other ones up so they don't dry out while we're working on this one. I brought out the big guns of my KitchenAid mixer. I will bring you over just to give you a boo. Okay, with my pasta attachment, you can see through these, okay, onto the little placemat that I have down here. And I am going to go ahead and give this a whirl. I've got my smallest scoop here, and I'm going to place a scoop of the filling like this. I mean, I guess I could use a piping bag too. And what I forgot to mention to you all is there should have been an egg in this filling. So we've got the cheeses, the mozzarella, the Parmesan, the ricotta, the boursin, and the egg in there, okay? What I'll do is I'll take these ones and I'll place them over top like so, right? I have a little crimper here, so let's see if I can make it work. Chefing myself here. Okay, I feel like now I could take this part and throw it on top of these guys. They might not be wide enough. My other 3 portions of dough are still over here wrapped up. Maybe perhaps I should have. I'm going to seal this now with water, I'm guessing. This one's pushing out, so I'm going to go like this. There. Okay. One cheese stuffed ravioli. Just pinching the ends together here to make sure it's good and sealed. Beautiful. Now I just have a piece of parchment paper over here. Piece of parchment paper over here that I've just sprinkled a little bit of that flour on. And we're going to set these stuffed raviolis over here on the parchment while we're making the other ones. Okay, give them a light dusting as well. That's our first round there. And now what I'm going to do is just start by putting this disc into my pasta roller. Got my second piece of pasta rolled out nice and thin. Just gonna go along and do my little blobs of cheese filling. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to just fold this over, seal it down. There we are. Then I'll use my little tool. Okay. So, there we are. There we are. So here we have all the cheese stuffed raviolis, and working now on our meat. We've got the filling there. It's been hanging around for a while waiting for us. And I got my last 2 discs here of pasta dough that I'm going to run through this. And you don't want to hear this because it is loud and noisy. Okay, so I've got my 2 sheets of pasta rolled out here with my attachment to my blender. And here I go with the meat mixture, and boy, does it smell freaking good. What I have to remember is to leave room on all sides. There we go. I don't mind doing it. To me, it's, you know, not as hard as it might be to some of you, but once you do learn to chef yourself, and if you do love being in the kitchen, then I promise you it will just be therapy. This is therapy for me. I love it. I just love it. So, if that's you, then you just might find it therapy as well. Okay. As you can see, I'm learning. I need to leave room around all the edges to make sure I have room. Okay, makes sense, right? I am now going to take my finger and do what I did with the cheese ones and just kind of moisten this in between. And I really liked the flip the dough over method. I don't know if that's an actual method, but It's one that I figured out that I liked. So that is how I am choosing to do it again. That's how I am chefing myself with these ravioli. Okay, here we go. The flip over method, that's what I call it. Just stick it down like so. Get a good seal on it there. Okay, and my handy dandy little tool. Okay, so I'm still at it here. I've got my ravioli all made. The square ones are filled with cheese. So I've got ricotta cheese, Parmesan cheese, mozzarella, some Boursin in there. And the meat ones have pork and beef and spices and cheeses and oh my. Obviously I'm going to need to cook the meat ones first. They're going to take a little bit longer to cook. I've got a sauce on the go here. Let's get some light on the subject. Oh, we don't want disco lights. Or do we? Okay, there we go. What I've got in here is some tomatoes, peppers, mushrooms, onions, and that was some homemade sauce that I had made and froze. I also am going to add some tomatoes that I just have blended up. There we go. This is cooking down. I've got my water boiling over here and it is very, very salted. I did not use salt in the pasta dough. Okay. I'm going to chop up some fresh basil to throw in here. Just going to take some of the bigger basil leaves here. Oh, I love the smell of this. Okay. I'm going to roll and chop those, throw them in the sauce, and then I'm going to get my meat pasta in those water. There we go. Okay, there we are. We're going to now throw in the meat-filled raviolis and pray for the best. So I still have all this meat left over and a little bit of the cheese. So I'm going ahead and turning it into meatballs, throwing it in the sauce, letting it cook in there. And here we have it. We've got the meat-filled ravioli right here. Nice and thin. Come on, get on there.
I like to see fights in hockey. I think it's great, but I just didn't like that play.
I say it's not because I like it.
Damn, that's good.
It sucks, but
let's try the cheese one.
This is just like video reviews for offside. You decide you're going to have a video.
Look at that.
The supplemental discipline. And
Yum.
cherry pick fights Cool. And then it happens in the future. Are we going to start looking
Wow.
over and over again at somebody? Oh, was he down on the ice? Was he halfway?
Damn,
down?
that's
Was
good.
he really defenseless?